What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Landry Hat channel. I am your host, Zach, and I'm really excited for today's video. We're going to talk about the Cowboys and their playoff hopes, their playoff chances, and like what it's going to take for them to get there, what they need to do, what could get in their way of that happening. So let's not waste any time and get into it. The Cowboys currently sit at 5-5-1, and at this point in the season, they are still in the hunt for a wild card spot. And I want to break this video into two categories: what's good, what they have going for them, and then what is bad, what's working against them. And we're going to start like we always do. We try to stay positive on this channel. We're going to start with the good news, what the Cowboys have going in their favor. They're still within striking distance in the NFC playoff picture. There's several key teams in the wild card mix that also have losses or have a really tough schedule coming up, like the Lions and the Packers and teams like that. And some of those tough games, like the Lions and Vikings, they play those against Dallas. Those should be tough games. That's two conference games that the Cowboys could use to improve their conference record and potentially knock some other teams out, like get the tiebreaker over them. They are 1-0 in make it or break it games now, because starting against the Eagles, that was the beginning of needing to win out to make the playoffs. They beat Philly, albeit very scary how they got that one done, but as of right now, Dallas is 1-0 in gotta have it games, and now against the Chiefs, against the Lions, against the Vikings, the Chargers, whoever else from here on out, you have to continue to go 1-0 every single week. And there's 6 games left, right? There's still time to make up ground on some of these teams and get back into contention if Dallas can go on a strong run. I think if they win out, which we're going to talk about in just a moment, if Dallas can win out their last 6 games, they have a real chance of making the playoffs. If you drop one, that's where we start having to do some math and hoping that this team or that team loses. The Lions are in the wild card. You beat them in that winning out mode, you might get into the playoffs over them. So what do the Cowboys have to do to make the playoffs in 2025? Obviously, win as many remaining games as they possibly can. Realistically, they're going to need at least 5 of their last 6, possibly 6 of their last 6. That's probably ideal. It's not impossible, but still very hard to do when you look at the games coming up. You just got to continue to put it together on defense. It starts with the defense. We know how good the offense is. George Pickens is on a roll. CeeDee Lamb will start to pick it up. Dak Prescott's having a really good season. The ground game is just fine. There's some things here and there from game to game that I don't love from the offense, but this entire season is going to fall back on the defense. 2 good games in a row, not against great offenses, but 2 good games. They have to start stringing together really good defensive performances, especially against a Lions offense that has proven in the past that they can put up points. Start putting together those good games and don't revert back to what we saw the first half of the team. If they revert back to what they were for the first half of the season, they don't deserve to be a playoff team anyway. Really simple as that. This team at times has felt disjointed. The offense won't play great, and then the defense will play pretty good, but then the offense can't make up enough ground to get back in the game, or the minute the offense does score, the defense gives up a score. It's felt really disjointed. If they're going to go on a run, it's going to require them to play together as a team, which it doesn't feel like they've done that up to this point. Either one's playing good and the other one's playing really bad. They got to start stringing together wins, but also playing together as a team and not feeling super disjointed. Obviously, we talked about it going on a run. You have to get a really big win over the Lions. That is the make it or break it game for both of those teams. Detroit is right in the mix as one of those wild card teams, so getting the tiebreaker over them and hoping that they drop another game here or there would be huge. Let's say that Dallas goes and they beat the Chiefs, big win. They beat the Lions, big win. They beat the Chargers, big win. Like, we're starting to stack up these wins, right? Avoid trap losses. These are going to be a little bit later in the season after some of these really tough games, but you still got to win against the Commanders and Giants to end off the season if you want to make the playoffs. I couldn't imagine a worse way to miss out on a wild card spot than you go on a run and you beat the Chiefs, the Lions, the Chargers, and then you drop a game to the Giants or the Commanders. Like, that would be the most heartbreaking way to end off a season, and it feels like we've seen that in the past with the Cowboys. You know, we got to beat a bad Eagles team, or we got to beat a bad Giants team, or this or that, and they just can't get it done. I would hate to see them go on a 4-0 run and then drop the game to the Commanders the week before the final week of the season, and that be the reason that they didn't make it. So win 6 of their last 6, and you're probably guaranteed a spot that would get them to 11 wins on the season. Drop any of those, and then we're going to be doing some math on how do they get in. Can the Lions lose, the Packers lose, the Bucs lose, or any of those teams? Now, let's look at what could block them this year, why they would possibly miss. The competition in the wild card race is pretty fierce this year. Other teams are winning and hold tiebreakers over you. Carolina and Chicago are 2 teams that I'm looking at. They beat Dallas in those head-to-head games. That's not great when it's going to be as close as it is. It's really close right now, and you have 6 games to go. It's only going to tighten more and more. Carolina did lose on Monday Night Football to the 49ers, but they have to keep losing, so you don't have to worry about them. The least amount of teams that have tiebreakers over you, like you really want the Bears to win their division or the Panthers to completely just fall out of the race, not win another game. And then you got other teams like the 49ers, Lions, Packers. Those teams are looking for a wild card spot too if they don't win the division. That's why it's so important when you face Detroit and the Vikings. Improve your conference record, but also get a tiebreaker over some of these teams. Something else that really hurts them and could keep them out of the playoffs is that tie doesn't help anything. At 5-5-1, because they tied in that game, technically teams with fewer losses have better control in the playoff picture. So if a team has 4 losses, if they're 7-4, they're ahead of you because they have 1 less loss than you do. That tie doesn't help you unless the other team has a tie. That tie doesn't help you when there's a team with 1 less loss than you. So they've lost some ground. Those tiebreakers might not tilt in Dallas's way, and trust me, I understand how scary this can be. So let's go over the 2 scenarios that could happen, right? Best case scenario, Dallas wins out 6-0 over their next 6 games. Or even 5-1 is maybe a best case scenario. You give them a little bit of grace, they drop a game. That puts them in relatively good wild card position and gives them a chance. That's all we're asking for here. Best case scenario, based on how they started the season, how bad the defense was, a chance. A chance is best case. Maybe the Eagles slip. Not very possible, but not impossible. Maybe Philadelphia starts losing some games, and then maybe Dallas can win the division. I don't know. That's just best case scenario. Worst case is they lose to the Chiefs and the Lions over the next 2 weeks, and that's all she wrote. You don't go at least 1-1, and that's still going to really hurt your chances. If Dallas goes 1-1 over the next 2 weeks, okay, maybe you can survive, got to win out. But if you go 0-2, it's over. You fall to 5-7, and we're going to be talking draft most likely here on the Landry Hat. So that is how Dallas makes the playoffs, what the scenarios are, and I just wanted to take a look at that because now it's getting real. Playoffs are getting real. Dallas currently sits at a 9% chance of making the playoffs in the NFC, but a lot of that is weird because of the teams that are trying to win the division or this or that, and they're like moving all over the place. Win out your next 6 games, I promise you probably got a 90% chance of making the playoffs. So that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe here on the Landry Hat if you like listening to me yap about the Cowboys. I really appreciate you guys' support. Go check out my interview with DeMarcus Ware. That was insane. It was a ton of fun talking to him. So go check that out. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.